Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and today I would like to explain about metaphysics. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Abimanyu Sultan Attar, and my metric number is 309088. So let's get started about the topic metaphysics. Metaphysics is a fundamental branch of philosophy that undertakes the profound and systematic study of the nature, structure, and principles of reality, existence, and being, exploring questions that transcend the empirical scope of science and delve into the deepest, most abstract aspect of what it means for anything to exist, what kinds of entities populate the universe, and what laws or structures govern their interactions. It addresses inquiries about the ultimate constitutions of reality, whether all that exists is material or physical, whether there are immaterial or abstract entities such as minds, souls, mathematical objects, moral properties, or even possible worlds that hold a form of being independent of human thought, and whether reality is singular and unified or composed of multiple, irreducible kinds of substance, forces, or phenomena. Metaphysics investigates ontology, the study of being, striving to classify the most fundamental categories of existence, and distinguish between substance, properties, events, processes, and relations, while also considering whether existence itself is contingent or necessary, finite or infinite, structured or chaotic, and how these conditions might vary across different levels of reality. It explores identity and persistence, seeking to understand how objects or persons can maintain their identity over time despite continuous change, whether personal identity depends on physiological continuity, memory, consciousness, or some more profound metaphysical substrate, and how the persistence of objects relates to broader notions of time, space, and causality. Speaking of which, metaphysics deeply analyzes the nature of causations and the principle of temporal and spatial order, examining whether causality is a necessary relation or pattern of observed regularities, whether time flows objectively or is a relations construct, whether space exists as an absolute entity or merely as a system of relations between objects. And the last one, whether the universe is deterministic, indeterministic, or governed by a combination of necessity and change, thereby engaging with the fundamental questions about free will, agency, and moral responsibility. Additionally, metaphysics considers the nature of universal and particulars, asking whether qualities like redness, beauty, justice, or mathematical truth exist independently of their institutions, and if so, how they relate to the physical and mental world, while also exploring abstract concepts such as possibility, necessity, essence, and potentiality. Historical metaphysics has been profoundly shaped by thinkers such as Plato, who argued for a transcendent realm of eternal forms as the ultimate reality behind the sensory world. Aristotle, who developed a comprehensive system of substance, causations, potentiality, and actuality. Medieval philosophers, particularly those of the scholastic traditions like Thomas Aquinas, who combined the Aristotelian metaphysics with theological concern about God, creation, and the soul. Early modern philosophers such as Descartes, who posited a fundamental dualism between mind and matter. Spinoza, who proposed a single infinite substance underlying all reality, and Leibniz, who described the universe as composed of simple, indivisible monads with the inherent qualities and purpose Immanuel Kant later transformed metaphysics by demonstrating that the human mind actively structures experience through the priori categories, thereby framing limits on what we can know and highlighting the distinction between phenomena, what appears to us, and noumena, things in themselves. In contemporary philosophy, metaphysics continues to thrive as it incorporates insight from physics, cosmology, logic, cognitive science, and philosophy of language, addressing questions about the nature of time, the ontology of space-time, the metaphysical implications of quantum mechanics, the foundations of mathematics, and the nature of consciousness, all while confronting criticism from logical positivity. Ordinary language philosophers pragmatize and deflationary theorists who challenge the meaningfulness or necessity or traditional metaphysical inquiry. Yet, despite these critiques, metaphysics remains essential because it grapples with questions that cannot be escaped. What exists? Why does it exist rather than nothing? How are different kinds of entities related? What is the nature of causation, possibility, and necessity? How do mind and matter interact? How does identity persist over time? These inquiries compel humans to reflect on most abstract, ultimate, and profound aspect of reality, shaping not only philosophical thought but also influencing the science, ethics, religion, and human self-understanding, making metaphysics a continually evolving, ever relevant, and indispensable field in the quest to comprehend the deepest structure, principles, and meaning of existence, encompassing everything from the smallest particles to the totality of the cosmos, the nature of consciousness, and the potentiality of all that might exist beyond empirical observations. Okay, so that's all. That's all the explanation from me. Thank you so much for the attention. My name is Abi Majusan Atar and I'm signing up. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for the attention. Thank you.